people of the world, and welcome to today's episode of the Unity Project. Yeah, we're gonna call it that. I have been in eating disorder treatment for the past 4 months now, and I wrote a letter a little while ago that I really want to share with you guys. I wrote this letter to my best friends back home because I was feeling really guilty. I was feeling guilty because I wasn't honest with them before leaving. I wasn't honest with my family. I wasn't honest with the people closest to me, but what I realized in that is that I wasn't just not honest with them, but I was not honest with myself. Before leaving for treatment, I really didn't understand my body. I really didn't understand my eating disorder. I didn't understand the whys and the whats, and I kind of knew a surface level piece about why I had an eating disorder, but I really didn't understand the ins and outs, and I just couldn't see it yet. But over the past 4 months, I have uncovered and peeled back layer after layer of really messy, beautiful pieces of my life that make all of this make sense. And so I want to share this letter with you because I feel like it's not perfectly written. It's not something that I would want to publish somewhere, but it's something that means a lot to me because it embodies my experience of a really chaotic environment in a really, I think, understandable way. And I think it's one of the first things that I've written for someone else that has been so honest. So for today's video, I want to read you guys a piece of this letter. When I was driving to treatment back on January 13th, I was terrified, obviously. When I was told that I needed to go, it felt like the rug that was my world was just ripped out from underneath my feet. The way I was planning on letting myself protect myself here was by coming in with my nose to the ground, eyes on the prize, meaning recovery, and not making any connections along the way. That seemed convenient to me because if I wasn't trying to make any connections, then I would have no reason to wear the exhausting mask that, if you know me at all, is a picture of a girl that is really happy and funny and great at conversation and has no real problems whatsoever. So if I wasn't trying to make friends, I wouldn't need that mask, because that mask is what I use to convince people that they want to be around me. Another reason wearing the mask here would be so convenient is because what I will later learn, a core belief behind my eating disorder, is that I need it in order to gain real connection. And that makes a lot of sense because what I will later learn as well is people with eating disorders really commonly try to control their outside world with their inside world. For example, if I can control in here by whether that looks like how much food I put in my body, how little food I put in my body, how much exercise I do, how much I drink or don't drink, or anything, if I can control that, I can control you not leaving me. But all that says is that once you do leave me, because that's life, I will think that I have failed. I will think that I failed at not eating enough, or I failed at eating too little. You left because I was not enough. There I was, day one, smiling as big as I could, biting my tongue hard so I wouldn't cry, pulling the bill of my hat down over my eyes if I did. My internal me was at complete war with my external me. I had no idea how I was going to get through this in an environment that was so chaotic. I felt like a new kid at school, or a first day of summer camp, but it wasn't summer camp. It was a place where I was supposed to show up in the most vulnerable way possible and find my healing in the scariest thing I'd ever done in my life. It was not summer camp. I was eventually led downstairs to join the community that I was going to be living with 24/7 for the next unforeseeable future during lunchtime. And I was taken down there, and as soon as they saw me, they knew nothing about me except they knew my biggest secret in the world. And that was a really scary, scary feeling. I was placed in front of a croissant sandwich with sweet potato fries. A million racing thoughts went through my mind. I don't think I had eaten a meal, a real meal, before that for maybe over a month. It felt like years. I was starving, but I don't think I was able to fully acknowledge that. I was desperate for food, but I wouldn't ask for it, and so when food was placed in front of me, I didn't know if I was allowed to eat it. I didn't know if I was supposed to eat it. I thought this was some kind of trick, they know I have an eating disorder. Why are they putting food in front of me? It was a mess. So I just stared at that sandwich, and I stared at those french fries, and I felt the hollowness in my stomach, and I felt the emptiness in my body, and I just did what I knew how to do, and I ignored myself. By the end of the meal, the sweet girl next to me said that she couldn't eat it because she was afraid of bread. By saying she was afraid of bread, she started to cry, and in that moment, I had never felt more understood in my life. I don't hear people talk like that in real world. The truth about the bread, and it's not the bread, it's what does the bread represent? What does the bread mean? What does eating this bread mean about me? It's more than just body image. Why does eating bread feel unsafe? Later that night, we had our first art therapy session, and I was doing a great job, I thought, so far at hiding my pain pain, hiding my tears. And I was sitting on those cold art stools in that little small room trying to draw something. I don't remember what the prompt was, but it was starting to feel like too much, and I felt like I wasn't able to contain my emotions in the way that I felt would protect me. So I got up and I told the staff member that I needed to go sit outside. And I went and I sat in the hallway and I put my head in between my knees and I hugged myself and I just let myself completely fall apart there in the hallway. And then I realized that I was not alone. I felt someone walk over to me and sit down beside me and place her hand on my back. And I pulled my head up and I was exposed. My gig was up. Like, this girl sitting by me, she was not blind, she was not an idiot, she could see that I was in pain. I couldn't keep my mask on in that moment. She asked what was going on, and I had no other choice but to just let myself fall apart in front of her. And she sat with me and she stayed, and that was the first moment in the building that I felt safe. Later that night, laying in my bed, I was so afraid of what these next weeks, days, months, whatever was about to look like in my life. Like, I wanted to leave so bad. I had no idea why I was there, no idea how I was supposed to work through my stuff in an environment like that. Like, I wanted to burst through those doors, and I was so mad, and I decided, you know what, I'm giving myself 2 weeks. 2 weeks here, and if I still hate it this much, I am leaving because I make my own choices, I am my own person, I want my independence and my freedom back. It is my life. Okay guys, I'm gonna pause there on the letter right now and go back and do a part 2 of this video because I think it's getting kind of long. But that was the beginning of my experience at treatment. There's more to come, more things to happen and to be learned and whatnot, but I will read the second half of the letter probably next week. If you guys want to support me while I'm still here away at treatment, then you can pick up a copy of my book, Finding Home, which shares my story looking for belonging and home inside of my own body. And if you want to support me in other ways, there's some links to do that below. Thank you for watching. Thank you for caring about what I have to say. I'm so excited to be making these videos again. I love you guys and I hope you have a good rest of your day.